that work. Your commitment ensures that Pennsylvanians get what they need when they need it. And perhaps one of the areas where that's most important and impactful is when families are facing financial hardship, such as when someone loses a job through no fault of their own. When that happens, they deserve to have an unemployment compensation system that meets their needs when they need it. Today, I am proud to announce that we have a system that is working better than ever. Thank you to all of these amazing UC people that you see here, and to UC Service employees behind me, UC Service Center people across the state and at Career Links. But none of this would be possible without the leadership and the help and the good service of Deputy Secretary Maria Mackis, to whom I am very, very grateful. And absolutely none of this would be possible without a governor who made fixing the things that we could fix in the UC service system a priority. In fact, one of his first priorities when he took office. So thank you to Governor Shapiro for everything he did. Now, if I could walk everyone back in time for a moment to 2023, when Governor Shapiro came into office. At that point in time, we had 40,000 backlog claims that needed adjudicating. What that means is people who were looking for benefits, 40,000 of them were waiting for a decision. We also had 34,000 claims, fraud claims, that needed to be resolved. 73,000 claims in all when we walked into office. Within 7 months, by July of that year, all of those claims had been resolved. In just 7 months, which is really extraordinary. That is one of the many ways that we've been able to serve people under the leadership of Governor Shapiro. We've been able to start UC Live Chat, which has given us the ability to chat with people live. We've done email services. We've been able to meet people where they are and serve them in ways that best meet their needs. We've also been able to make UC Connect a permanent presence in our 67 career links across the state. Through that service and in-person ability for people to come in and talk to UC service people, they've been able to resolve claims, navigate eligibility issues, connect with community-based services, and we have been able, through this UC Connect program, to serve over 100,000 people. Thanks to Governor Shapiro's bold investments, we were able to add 380 new intake interviewers to our service center, which has been really wonderful. That has given us the ability to boost and improve customer service, and I'm here to announce today we have really improved customer service. Just last week, we were able to hit a 6-year average call wait time low of 9 minutes. 9 minutes, which is incredible. Again, if we can roll back time, when we came into office in January of 2023, people would call sometimes a dozen times to get into the phone queue, and when they finally got in, they waited for over an hour, sometimes as long as an hour and a half. So these are huge improvements. Governor Shapiro's comprehensive investment in UC has made a difference. And this underscores his dedication and the Department of Labor and Industry's dedication to making sure that we have a fair, efficient, and accessible unemployment system that meets the needs of people when they need it. So thank you to Governor Shapiro for all he has done to make sure that this has happened. And I will turn the podium now over to Governor Shapiro. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Let me begin by saying you have an outstanding leader in Secretary Nancy Walker. I have been privileged to work with her for nearly a decade. She lives, eats, and breathes the needs of workers. She is extraordinary as a leader, and I'm grateful to have her as a partner in progress. Thank you, Madam Secretary. Thank you. I want to apologize for being a little bit late. It's because I wanted the opportunity to not just be here with the Secretary and our outstanding Deputy Secretary. I wanted the chance to be with the folks who are doing this work on the front lines every day. So we just had a private gathering where I got the chance to thank them. And I wish the good people of Pennsylvania could see these wonderful, dedicated public servants who do this work every single day to make people's lives better. People like Mitchell Smith, our unemployment claims intake interviewer, I'm so grateful to him. I'm grateful to Nina Coffey, who is the Secretary Treasurer of SEIU Local 668 SE. There you go. These union members deserve great credit for the work that they've done to advance the process here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And I'm excited for you to get the chance to meet Barney Ausler. Barney's someone who's technically the co-founder and director of the Mon Valley Unemployed Committee. But I know him as someone who challenged me when I was campaigning for this office to fix our UC system. And Barney, that is exactly what we did with your help. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Thank you. Here in Pennsylvania, we stand up for our workers. We stand up for the people that go fight for us every single day. The people who build our communities and the people who support our neighbors. Pennsylvanians work extremely hard. I think we got the best workforce in the entire country. And they deserve a government that works just as hard for them. You know my record as Attorney General, together with then Deputy Attorney General Walker. We created the first ever fair labor section in the Office of Attorney General. Together, we work to stand up and protect worker rights and hold employers accountable. I'm proud of the fact that we prosecuted the largest Davis-Bacon prevailing wage theft case in the history of the United States of America, and we won and got every worker their money back who had been stolen from. But when Secretary Walker and I moved across the street, our commitment to workers didn't stop. We brought it, and we brought that spirit right here to our administration. In just our first year working together, we launched a joint task force with our neighbors in the East, New Jersey, to fight back against employee misclassification, and it's working. Since then, the Department of Labor and Industry has investigated more than 12,000 complaints of violation to Pennsylvania labor laws, and we've returned over $12.5 million to workers in Pennsylvania who've been screwed. But our commitment to workers doesn't stop there. While our unemployment rate has been below the national average for 27 consecutive months, we need to be there for our workers, not just in these good times, but also when they suffer bad times. When a worker loses their job, it's not only devastating for them, it's devastating for their family, for their entire network. And in the past, our Commonwealth, let's be frank, hasn't always done right by our workers when they're facing that moment of need. When the pandemic hit, our unemployment compensation system failed them. Before I took office, there was a backlog of 40,000 unaddressed unemployment claims from the peak of the pandemic, 40,000. And at the same time, when folks who were in need picked up the phone to call the unemployment compensation office, they had to reach out on average more than 12 times just to get someone on the phone. And then when they got someone on the phone, it often took more than an hour and a half in order to address their problem, if at all. So when I took office, I immediately, and Secretary Walker reminded me, it was literally the day after I got sworn in, directed the Secretary and her team to fix the Commonwealth's unemployment compensation mess. And they got to work on day one. You all got to work on day one. And within our first 7 months, we eliminated that backlog of 40,000 cases. It took years for that to build up, and you got rid of it in just 7 months. No more backlog. And then we began slashing wait times for Pennsylvanians who called for UC help. We hired, as the Secretary noted, 380 dedicated intake interviewers to help answer those calls and process those claims. Folks like the incredible state employees who are standing behind me and others who are standing out there. I am so darn proud of these folks who were there for our fellow Pennsylvanians, there for our neighbors who were in need, and they did extraordinary work. They didn't let the backlog, they didn't let the long time make them feel like they couldn't do anything about it. They rolled up their shirt sleeves, they got to work, and they did something about it. You're going to hear from Mitch in a moment. He is one of those workers who did incredible work. We also expanded something known as UC Connect, an initiative to provide in-person help with the UC questions and claims at CareerLink offices across the Commonwealth. We also did something innovative where we installed self-service identity verification kiosks at those CareerLinks to help applicants safely, securely, and quickly verify their identity so they could get what they were entitled to. And we just announced, under the Secretary's leadership, major improvements to our secure live chat option that's available for Pennsylvanians to use 24/7 when they have a question. Listen, when folks are busy doing other things, tending to their kids or work or whatever, they shouldn't only be able to get answers when you guys are physically here at work. They should be able to get answers 24/7. And now, thanks to this innovative live chat option, they can do just that. And now, because of all of this hard work, we now have the lowest call wait time in more than 6 years. We should be incredibly proud of that, and I'm incredibly proud of all of you. We had the highest wait time ever recorded the day Secretary Walker and I took the oath of office. And now, standing here, we have one of the lowest. Now you can reach out and get an answer from someone at L&I in less than 10 minutes. We're responding to unemployment compensation emails within 24 hours. You're getting a next day response. And more than 106,000 Pennsylvanians have gotten help directly through UC Connect. When Pennsylvanians are unexpectedly out of work, they don't need another roadblock, they need some help. And I believe, you've heard me say this many times, there should be no wrong door for getting help here in Pennsylvania. That's what our administration is doing to deliver. And under the leadership of Secretary Walker, we've made real progress to cut these wait times and get people the help they need without having a backlog. And she'll be the first to tell you, it's not just the leadership of Secretary Walker and our Deputy Secretary, it's the entire UC team here at L&I. I got the chance to talk to Maria and Shama and their colleagues earlier. They have been at the forefront of this work, and we couldn't be more grateful to them for all that they do. All of you have worked hard to eliminate these backlogs, reduce these wait times, and get people the help they need, and we are incredibly thankful. And I hope you're proud of the work that you've been doing. You should be, and you've done incredible things on behalf of your fellow Pennsylvanians. Hear me on this. We value you, and we appreciate you. And I wish the people of Pennsylvania got the chance to know you personally or see your faces, because I know they value and appreciate you as well. When you're facing tough times, it's hard to pick up the phone and make a call and ask for help. And to be greeted by a wonderful person like all of you who are here today, there to help folks, that is an extraordinary thing to do. That is a gift that you are giving these people, the gift of opportunity, the gift of hope, and you are doing that, and we are incredibly grateful to each and every one of you. Look, I know that folks get frustrated when government isn't working the way it should be. And by the way, they're right to get frustrated when they don't get the answers that they need. And I know that when they have frustrations, that leads to greater cynicism, greater division in our world, greater division in our politics, greater division in our neighborhoods. I believe a byproduct of good government is that it gives people a sense of feeling more hopeful, maybe a little less cynicism, a little more division in our society. That's a good thing. And it starts with the dedicated workers who are here at L&I, the dedicated crew at UC who do amazing work. And this data bears out just how extraordinary their work has been. Look, I'm so honored to serve with all of you as the 48th governor of the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. You know we live by 3 letters every single day, GSD. We focus on getting stuff done. This is a crew that knows how to get stuff done, and the good people of Pennsylvania are better off because of your public service. So I came here today to celebrate you, to thank you, and to tell you that we're going to continue to make great strides, I know, under Secretary Walker. We're going to continue to be aggressive. We're going to continue to have a can-do attitude. We're going to continue to make state government work. We're going to continue to create a society with a little less cynicism and a lot more hope, and I think you are all key to doing just that. I want you now to meet Mitchell Smith, one of our UC Claims intake interviewers, to hear more about the incredible work they do. You'll hear from some others who have been part of the progress we made, and then I'll come back and take a few questions at the end. Thank you all very, very much. I appreciate you. Mitchell, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Governor Shapiro, and good morning, everyone. My name is Mitch, and I am a claims intake interviewer. In other words, there is a chance that I am one of the ones who answers the phone when you call into the Unemployment Service Center. I help people open their claims, answer questions, and help with additional issues that may arise. I also answer emails and chats, and as you heard the Governor and Secretary mention moments ago, my colleagues and I have been working tirelessly to improve the customer experience for Pennsylvanians when they call in. I am proud of the success that we have achieved. For many who call us, they have never interacted with the UC system before, and it can be overwhelming. But we are here to help and to reassure them that they have a supportive, helpful ally as they try to navigate after losing their jobs. I've been doing this job for almost 2 years and recently started working on the monetary team a few months ago, 2 days a week. And the monetary team is responsible for adding out-of-state wages, federal wages, military wages, and then researching any missing wages that claimants might have. And that's part of a determination process that all claims go through for eligibility. Because of the great improvements that we've made across the UC system, we get fewer calls, and when we have fewer calls, that gives me and my coworkers extra time to come off the phones and work on other processes like determinations that need to be completed on these claims. It leads to our ultimate goal of expedited completion times all around. I look forward to continued enhancements that will make our processes even more streamlined. And thank you all for being here today. I would now like you to introduce you to Barney Auersler, who is from the Mon Valley Unemployed Committee.
Mon Valley Unemployed Committee is really proud to stand today with the governor, with Secretary Walker, and with the amazing staff that work to get unemployment benefits out to people in Pennsylvania. Today we're marking an important step in progress, but it has been now a very important 2.5 years of progress that this administration has been able to make in getting unemployment benefits out to people. So this pandemic made it almost impossible for folks to get the benefits. At one point, near the end of the previous administration, there were 325,000 people who'd waited more than 6 months to get their unemployment benefits. And so, of course, we went to the streets, and many unemployed people joined us. As the governor said, we approached him when he declared that he was going to run for governor to make sure that he understood how critical this was and how major the problem was. Of course, we'd had access to the Deputy Attorney General that the governor assigned to help unemployed people, because unemployed people called every office they could find in the state government trying to find out how to get to the unemployment system. And so we really do feel that not just the Mon Valley Employee Committee, but Philadelphia Unemployment Project, the Philadelphia Legal Assistance, Community Legal Services, labor leaders and community organizations really understand the struggle of people when they lose their jobs and really appreciate the leadership of this administration. When we brought the failing unemployment system to the governor's administration, the governor and his administration listened, and they responded with action, and today marks one of those results. They are making it happen. So I have a lot more stuff. I write too long. But you know, the other things that Secretary Walker mentioned, for example, it has been decades since people who really can't convey their problems by even telephone, to say nothing of trying to work online. So many people couldn't get their benefits because they needed to talk to somebody. And the commitment to have in-person services available through every career link in the state has really been a remarkable change for people really challenged by technology, even including a telephone. They got to come in and they got to show somebody that piece of paper and try to understand what it means to them. So Mon Valley Employee Committee and our sister organization, the Philadelphia Unemployment Project, look forward to continuing our collaboration with this administration to make the UC system even more useful to unemployed Pennsylvanians. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce someone from one of our favorite unions that represents many of the workers in the unemployment system. And in fact, we really do depend upon the leadership of the union to fight for you guys, because that helps our folks get what they need to remake their lives. So I'd like to introduce Nina Kofi.
All right, good afternoon. Good afternoon. On behalf of SEIU Local 668, I want to thank Governor Shapiro for your strong commitment to working with our union to ensure that we are delivering for the people of Pennsylvania while also improving the working conditions of our dedicated members. Over the years, our members have pressed forward through funding cuts, through furloughs, and through a pandemic. They remain committed today because they care. They are strong union workers who have never wavered in their service to Pennsylvanians, and they will continue to stand with Pennsylvania's workers through thick and thin in the years ahead. Knowing we have a governor like you who stands on the side of workers and encourages all of us. Unlike many other states, Pennsylvania made a very different choice when it came to its unemployment compensation workforce. Rather than cutting jobs and salaries, the Commonwealth invested. And that investment led to proper training for UC workers, prioritizing securing the tools and the resources that they need to be able to actually effectively do their jobs. During the pandemic, we hired staff necessary to respond to an unprecedented crisis. But what is equally important is that those workers were retained. And today, their experience and their commitment continue to benefit Pennsylvania, and we see the results in a stronger and more efficient system. That partnership between the governor and our union has led directly to a better experience for claimants, a workforce that feels supported, and a state that is stronger because of it. This is what happens when we put people first and we invest in public service workers. So when we do that, y'all, everybody wins. I'm gonna kick it back to the governor. Thank you.
Thank you, Nina. Before I take some questions, I just want to make sure I put an exclamation point on what Nina said. This is what happens when you invest in a workforce, and then a workforce invests back into the good people of Pennsylvania. I couldn't be more proud of the sisters and brothers in SEIU Local 668 and all of our state employees that do this work every single day to look out for their fellow Pennsylvanians. So I am grateful that you are here. I'm grateful that you spoke on behalf of your colleagues here. You all matter. We are proud to invest in you, and we're going to keep doing that. And we know you're going to keep investing in Pennsylvania. So thank you very, very much. We appreciate you. And with that, I know we're getting a little feedback. I apologize for that. But if you got any questions in the media, let's start with things on topic, and then we'll move, I'm sure, to other things. Look, I think the Wolf administration was really well-intentioned. I don't think that they set out to have a backlog or to have these long wait times. We just were really purposeful in our work from literally the first week when I challenged Secretary Walker to fix this system. I went to lawmakers, and Democrats and Republicans both invested in a new system here so we could hire those nearly 400 new people. We gave them the technology that they needed to be able to work more efficiently, and we reported our results back to the legislature so they could see that the money they were investing was going to good cause here. So I think just our focus on it, we were determined to fix the problem. You've heard me talk, whether it's on permitting, where we went from the bottom of the pack in the country to now one of the leaders on permitting in the country. I think government needs to work effectively, efficiently, speedily, not just to solve an individual's problem or get a business up and running or get someone back up on their feet, but it's what I said before as well. It really helps take some of the cynicism out of the system. It takes some of the division and the divisiveness out of the system, and instead allows people to see the humanity in one another and work better together. So I think for us, it was about being purposeful, making the investments, showing our work, holding L&I to a high standard, and every single person, not just the Secretary and Deputy Secretary, but every single person standing behind me, sitting here, those who are working right now, answering those calls, doing what they needed to do to help their fellow Pennsylvanians.
Hi, Governor.
Hey,
Hi.
you are literally behind the light. I can't see you. You're good, Lauren. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. You know it's me.
I do.
I came here from Philadelphia,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you know why. There's a lot of concern about what is going to happen with SEPTA. I think you know what the situation is. The deadline has passed for securing funding. The deadline SEPTA set. Those cuts are set to go into effect on Sunday. School starts on Monday. So what can you tell people about where you are in negotiations? Are you close, or are those cuts going to be in effect by the time you can figure some sort of deal out?
Look, I am deeply concerned about the 52,000 school children in Philadelphia who rely on SEPTA to get to school or to get to after-school programs or to get home. I'm really worried about them. I'm worried about their parents who are going to struggle to get them where they need to go, or their kids to be able to get home safely to their parents because their bus isn't running, so they got to walk, or they got to get a ride somehow, or they've got to find some other mode of transportation. And that worry, that concern, is what is keeping me at the table trying to bridge the differences between the House and the Senate and find common ground so we can stop these cuts from going into effect. I've been on the phone or in person nearly every single day with the leaders of the House and Senate and the leaders at SEPTA. And I think we've successfully been able to bridge some of the divides that exist between the two sides. But now's a moment where both sides need to make some tough choices. Compromise is hard, especially in a polarized environment that we find ourselves in. And so the House and the Senate need to compromise. They got to make tough choices. And they got to remember this isn't just some political game here in Harrisburg. This is about those 52,000 kids. It's about their parents. It's about the folks that need to get to work. And this is not just a problem in Philadelphia. This is a challenge all across Pennsylvania. Wherever you're riding a bus, wherever a senior is getting on a ride share, wherever someone's getting on a trolley or a train or a subway, this is serious stuff. So for my part, I'm going to continue to try and bring the Republican leaders in the Senate, the Democratic leaders in the House together to come up with a solution here prior to these cuts going into effect. And I'm working tirelessly to try and find that common ground and get this done.
Did the legislation last week, either in the House or the Senate, did it get you any closer?
It did, because what the action last week by the Senate and the action 5 times prior by the House now has shown that both chambers believe that we've got to fund mass transit at the number that I proposed in my budget nearly 200 days ago. That number of nearly $300 million, in addition to what the Commonwealth has already invested, to going to these mass transit agencies. So I would say that with the Senate action last week, although there are profound disagreements with the manner in which they want to fund SEPTA, and SEPTA has made clear it won't help them in the long run, what they've acknowledged is there's a problem. What they've acknowledged is they've got to fund it with nearly $300 million in new revenue. And now what we've got to do is continue to find ways to bridge the divide between the House and Senate, and that's the work that I'm doing. We were doing it over the weekend. We did it this morning, late last night. I was on the phone with one of the leaders till 11:45 at night working on this. This is so incredibly important, and I'm pouring everything I've got into this to finding common ground and bridging the differences between these two leaders and between these two chambers.
Governor, now that we know that Amtrak is being threatened by these cuts, does that change the dynamic at all of these talks, knowing that the South Central area is now going to be potentially affected by this?
I have made clear that mass transit is an issue that affects all 67 counties, including right here in South Central Pennsylvania. I think we were together a month or so ago when I was over at Rapid Transit. This is an issue that affects every community in Pennsylvania, and that is why I was heartened to see bipartisan majorities in the House, and of course the vote in the Senate last week say that this needs to get done. Members from rural, urban, and suburban communities have now all voted to fund mass transit. So we've got to figure out ways to bridge the divides that exist and get a package done to support these communities. As it relates to Amtrak, I think there was some reporting that suggested that the line was going to be cut, the line that goes from Philly to Harrisburg and to New York. Amtrak, I think, either has or is about to put out a statement today indicating that that's not actually the case. But if SEPTA is unable to make the payments that they need to make to Amtrak, what it could potentially do is slow down the maintenance that is needed along those lines, which could cause slowdowns in those routes, or having more of those routes have to get stopped because of a maintenance issue. But the lines will not be canceled. They are going to be compromised if we don't get this funding in place.
Governor, I'm curious about skill games. It's the one revenue generator that everybody seems to agree with, that it needs to be taxed and regulated. The Senate, as of last week, just threw yet another bill on it. What's the latest on where we are on skill games? Is that mostly left to the Senate to figure it out, or have you engaged in that as well?
Again, nearly 200 days, I proposed taxing and regulating skill games at a rate of 52%. The legislature has had my proposal for 200 days. I think they've been in session about 26 days during that time. I'm not going to get into the specifics of our negotiating here, but I can tell you that that is an issue that we continue to discuss and continue to work to find common ground on.
No, back over there, Sean. Go ahead real quickly. It's behind the light. Step up for us.
You're behind Lauren and the light.
Just speak up, Sean. Go ahead.
Yesterday, President Donald Trump announced that he's going to be introducing an executive order on mail-in ballots and mail-in voting. Is that going to be an issue for voters here in Pennsylvania, given the work your administration has done with making that more accessible?
Look, Donald Trump can sign whatever the hell executive orders he wants to sign and make a show out of whatever he wants, but he can't change the Constitution with an executive order. And the Constitution gives the authority to set our election rules to the states. Let me remind you that it was just about 5 years ago that a bipartisan majority in the House and in the Senate passed mail-in voting. And during that time, millions of people have voted by mail. And we have had free and fair, safe and secure elections. Donald Trump has won some of those elections. He has lost some of those elections. Democrats have won some. Republicans have won some. For him to try and put more misinformation out there, to stoke more division and fear amongst people who want to exercise their constitutional right to pick the leaders in their communities and in their Commonwealth, that is just cynical and wrong. And Donald Trump can sign whatever executive order he wants. It will have absolutely no bearing on our elections here in Pennsylvania. And we will once again have free and fair, safe and secure elections led by Republican and Democratic clerks of elections in each of our 67 counties. People will be able to vote by mail, or people will be able to vote in person.
One more, Governor. Here, across from you.
I just want to see your reaction to
You want to see my reaction? My physical reaction? What are you about to ask?
visual business.
Okay.
Oh, your reaction to Treasurer Stacey Garrity entering the race for governor.
I mean, look, I said this before, I'll say it again. They're going to have their intramural fight. They'll send someone along to face me next year. We'll be ready. There'll be plenty of time to talk about politics. You know what I'm focused on right now? Those 52,000 kids and making sure they got a bus to get to school. You know what I'm focused on? Making sure the good people here in this office continue to serve the good people of Pennsylvania. Continuing to invest in public education. We've hired 1,500 more cops across Pennsylvania. I want to hire more. Violent crime is down 42% in our Commonwealth. We went from the bottom of the pack on permitting to the top of the pack. I want us to get even better. We just landed the largest economic development deal in the history of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and we're going to land more. I'm going to continue to work my heart out for the good people of Pennsylvania, not play political parlor games. There'll be time for that in the future. My job is to focus like a laser beam on meeting the needs of Pennsylvanians, bringing Republicans and Democrats together, and that's exactly what we're going to keep doing. Okay? Thank you all very much. Okay?